Welcome to History Tag, the full history of Canada. 1. Indigenous era, before European arrival, pre-15th century, long before European exploration. Indigenous peoples, including the First Nations Inuit and Métis, lived across the vast land of Canada. They developed rich cultures, languages, and governance systems, many of which still influence modern Canada. Various groups, such as the Iroquois Confederacy and the Plains Cree, thrived by hunting, fishing, and farming, while the Inuit adapted to the Arctic's harsh climate. Their societies were deeply connected to nature, with spiritual beliefs centered on the land and its resources. Trade networks existed between tribes for thousands of years, with goods like copper, furs, and food exchanged across regions. Indigenous groups also established complex oral histories that passed down traditions and knowledge through generations. At the time of European arrival, the estimated indigenous population ranged between 500,000 to 2 million, with large settlements in areas that are now Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia. Second European exploration and colonization, 15th to 16th century. European interest in Canada began in 1497, when the Italian explorer John Cabot, sailing under the English flag, landed on the eastern coast. However, it was the French explorer Jacques Cartier who, in 1534, claimed land for France. He explored the St. Lawrence River and interacted with indigenous peoples, trading fur and other goods. By the early 1600s, French settlements had begun, with Samuel de Champlain founding Quebec City in 1608. This marked the start of the fur trade, which would dominate the region for over a century. The French allied with indigenous groups, such as the Huron, to expand their influence. Meanwhile, the British sought control over the land, leading to increasing conflicts between France, Britain, and indigenous nations. 3. French and British conflicts, 17th to 18th century. During the 17th and 18th centuries, France and Britain fought over control of Canada, with indigenous nations often caught in between. The French established a strong fur trade economy, while the British expanded their presence through the Hudson's Bay Company, founded in 1670, controlling vast territories in present-day Ontario and Manitoba. The struggle between the two powers reached a peak during the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, a global conflict that had a major impact on Canada. The British defeated the French at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759, capturing Quebec City. This led to the Treaty of Paris, 1763, in which France ceded Canada to Britain, marking the beginning of British rule. Fourth British Rule and Confederation, 1763 to 1867. Following British control, efforts were made to accommodate the French-speaking population. The Quebec Act, 1774, allowed French laws and Catholicism to continue, preserving Quebec's cultural identity. However, tensions between English and French speakers remained a recurring issue. The War of 1812, fought between Britain, including Canada, and the United States, strengthened Canadian identity. Although there was no clear winner, Canada successfully defended its territory against American invasion. Over the next few decades, Canada expanded westward, leading to economic growth and increased immigration. By the mid-19th century, political instability and economic concerns pushed for a united Canada. In 1867, the British North America Act, now called the Constitution Act, officially created the Dominion of Canada, initially uniting Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. This marked the beginning of modern Canada as a self-governing country. 5. Westward expansion and industrial growth, 1867 to 1914. Following Confederation, Canada sought to expand its borders westward. Manitoba joined in 1870, British Columbia in 1871, and Alberta and Saskatchewan in 1905. This expansion was made possible through the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, completed in 1885, which connected eastern and western Canada, boosting trade and settlement. However, this growth came at a cost to Indigenous peoples. The Indian Act, 1876, imposed strict government control over Indigenous communities, forcing many onto reserves and into residential schools which aimed to erase Indigenous culture. Despite these challenges, Canada's economy grew rapidly, driven by agriculture, forestry, and mining. 6. Canada in World Wars and Economic Shifts, 1914 to 1945. Canada played a key role in World War I, 1914 to 1918, with over 600,000 Canadians serving in the war. The victory at Vimy Ridge, 1917, earned Canada international respect and strengthened its national identity. However, the war's aftermath led to economic struggles and political unrest. The Great Depression, 1929 to 1939, hit Canada hard, causing widespread unemployment and poverty. The economy eventually rebounded with the start of World War II, 1939 to 1945, as Canada became a major supplier of war materials. Over 1 million Canadians served, and Canada's contribution to the war helped establish its independence from Britain in global affairs. 7. Post-war boom and social progress, 1945 to 1980. After World War II, Canada entered a period of rapid economic growth. The 1950s and 1960s saw the rise of major industries, urbanization, and technological advancements. Canada introduced universal health care in 1966, led by Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson, and in 1971 it officially adopted a policy of multiculturalism, recognizing its diverse population. The 1960s and 1970s also brought political challenges, especially with the rise of Quebec nationalism. The Quebec referendum of 1980 was the first major vote on independence, but the movement failed to gain majority support. 8. Modern Canada. Economy and global influence, 1980 present. Today, Canada is a global leader in energy, technology, and environmental sustainability. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal drive economic growth, while Canada maintains strong diplomatic relations worldwide. Challenges remain, including Indigenous reconciliation and climate change, but Canada continues to thrive as one of the most developed nations. Key facts about Canada. 9. Capital and best cities. The capital city of Canada is Ottawa. However, Toronto is often ranked as the best city due to its economic opportunities, cultural diversity, and high quality of life. Other top cities include Vancouver, known for its nature and livability, Montreal, rich in arts and culture, and Calgary, a major business hub. 10. GDP and income. Canada has a GDP of approximately $2.2 trillion USD, making it the 9th largest economy in the world. The average income per person is around $56,000 per year, with top industries including energy, manufacturing, technology, and agriculture. 11th Best Prime Minister in History. Some of the most influential prime ministers in Canadian history include Sir John A. Macdonald. First Prime Minister, played a key role in Confederation and railway expansion. Lester B. Pearson, introduced universal health care and Canada's modern flag. Pierre Trudeau, promoted multiculturalism and made Canada officially bilingual. 12. Natural resources and wealth. Canada is one of the world's most resource-rich countries. It has the third largest oil reserves, vast forests, and major deposits of gold, uranium, and diamonds. Its clean water supply and fertile land also make it a leader in agriculture and environmental sustainability. Now, the summary: Canada's history is a journey of resilience, diversity, and progress. From indigenous civilizations to European colonization, British rule, and eventual independence, Canada has grown into a prosperous and globally respected nation, known for its strong economy, cultural richness, and commitment to human rights. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to support us. See you in the next video.